I'm back filming for you again. Yesterday I showed you how you can make this little handy or cell phone bag to put onto your belt. And today I decided to show you how to make a bag to fit with it. There are so many videos in YouTube that shows you how to make these bags. But I haven't really seen one that puts you a nice pocket on the outside or one that is reversible. So I'm going to show you how to make this, what is it called? This bag? You tell me, you always know.
Shopping bag.
No, that's not
reversible.
What I mean. No, that's not what I mean. This omigari, or what is it called? Yeah, you know, there's this hot Chinese, Japanese name for this bag. Anyway, that's the one I'm going to show you.
Origami.
Ah, you found the word. That's good. Now you heard it. So I'm going to show you this particular one. The idea is, if you like to go swimming and you got your wet towel or your bathing suit wet, you can put it in the inside, as I've chosen a material that is water resistant for the inside, which can also be the outside, as it's a reversible one. But if you say, oh, I've got to go shopping and it's raining today, well, then all you have to do is turn this bag around and you got the water resistant material on the outside, and whatever you're going to be shopping stays nice and dry. And also here I just added a pocket on top to put little items in, as you've seen already on the other side, where I also added a little pocket with different departments in it, and so you can use it either way, and you got this reversible nice bag. So I hope summer's going to be here soon, so I can put my bathing suit in it and the wet towel after I dried myself off. I put my belt on, where I maybe have my money in, so nobody can just steal that out of my bag. And now I show you how to do it. For this reversible origami bag, you need two big material pieces. I've chosen to make it the size in the 40 widths, and you got to time that by 3 to get the lengths. That means if I make a bag that I'm doing the cutting by 40 times 3, I need 1.20 meters long the piece, also 40 centimeters by 1.20 meters. Of course, you don't have to make them so big. After you've done the first one, you will probably do several sizes anyway. All it means is, if you say I only wanted 30 centimeters, then you needed the piece 90 centimeters long. If you say 25, it's 75, and so on and so on. I've got those cuttings already prepared here, as you can see. And I also made myself, as I said, I got 1.20 meters here. On all 40 centimeters in both materials, I put myself a little mark in on this side and on this side, because that makes it easy for me to check that I'm stitching them together in the correct way later on. As well, you need for the handle, when you fasten the bag on the top, you need a little piece, which I cut 14 by 10 centimeters, and the smaller sides I ironed over already, because later on this will be the handle for holding the top of the bag together. So I show you how you got to fold this now. It's quite easy, and it's on both exactly the same. Just take any of your corners and pull it over so you get those two edges coming together. And here you can see already, when you lie this correctly, there is my cut. That's my proof, my check that it is correctly. We started here. Now you go exactly to the opposite corner and take this corner and pull it in the opposite direction. Here you see my cut. Now you take this long piece, and this fold over corner goes now up there. So you take this slowly, you pull it there, and approximately you can guess already what this bag is going to look like. Now we could immediately start stitching it together, but I have another idea. I would like to have on each side of the bag a little extra pocket, which I prepared here. And the size, if you want to put a pocket on, it does not matter at all. It depends on what you have planned maybe to put in. If you make a little pocket that you put on top with a zipper in, because you might want to put your keys in or anything. I just prepared them to have different departments here. I prepared this, I ironed the edges over, and I will just stitch this on top here like this with a double stitch before I will join the bag together, because like this it's much easier to stitch it on when it's all flat. But of course I have to decide exactly where I want it. And the other pocket for this material, I will put the colorful one on exactly in the same way. And I show you all of this right now. As you can see, I laid this in position, and I took this already prepared pocket and put 2 needles in. So I'm just going to take it apart again now and stitch just the pocket on. I ironed it over on the edges, as I said. It's a total prepared one that I did, so I'm not spending time on this little pocket just to be stitched on. I'm sure you know how to do this, otherwise you might have to watch some of my other videos that I got on YouTube already. Stitch this on about 1 millimeter first on the edge, and then as pockets usually get a lot of wear, I will stitch it once over again in 5 millimeter loops. And it also cleans the inside seam off very well, and it's especially good for holding these corners very well. So you start exactly there again. The needles are not necessary anymore, the pins. And I just have my little pressure foot running against my first seam. That gives me the exact width of my 5 millimeter that I like to do here. And makes it look nice and even. Make sure you do a good stitching in the beginning and at the end, so it really stays on firm for you. It's not so good to see, not so visible, but my pocket is here. I show you on that side now, and you must check that you lie it in the correct direction, not that your pocket by any mistake is facing downwards. And now you see here are all my cuts again that I did on my 40 centimeters everywhere. And now you just take any of either this seam first or that seam, doesn't matter. Take this and stitch it up. Put it again on the cut there. And now don't start directly on the edge, start about 1 centimeter in, which is good for the next job that we have to do afterwards. So you just stitch this 1 centimeter together. Here you see again my cut on 40. It's always a good check that you got there. On this bottom, right away, on about 5 centimeters from the bottom edge, I will stitch across here, which gives the bag a nice floor. That means something like that we stitch just there across. You can mark this first if you wish, but you see the whole pocket will have a nicer design. It looks better. That's the first one that we did. Now we have to lie it in the position again, otherwise you don't know where to go to. Here we go for the other side. My cut here, you see they're all joined nicely, and you take this seam onto your cut, but you start 1 centimeter lower down. You look for your other cut at the end here. Edge on edge. All the way down. And on this side you do exactly the same, approximately 5 centimeters in. You just stitch along this corner here. If your bag that you're making is going to be much smaller than this one, of course, then you only do 4 or 3 centimeters across for a smaller bottom for the bag. So when I turn this around now, you can approximately see what the bag will look like. There is my pocket. Here is your big shopping bag. This will come together, and now first of all I have to make the other one exactly like this one. Both of my big parts are prepared now to start fitting them together. So all you have to do is put one of your bags in the inside of the other one, the proper sides lying against each other, and now we can stitch once all the way around. We have to consider that on some part we have to leave a hole later on for turning the bag inside out again. So first of all, you start looking at one of your started corners and you look all the way to the other end to make sure you got the same lengths which you want to stitch together. The seams that you got in the middle might not necessarily come totally together in the same position. So I'm planning on leaving the hole there. That's why I started somewhere in the middle of this seam. But I look right away towards the ending that I have not one of the parts sticking over. 1 centimeter, I start stitching this together. Now you got to be careful in this corner where all your seams are adding together, coming together, that you do not get underneath some foldings that you stitch down. You can stitch it back and forward to maybe look underneath or start new again. You can stitch a corner there, or you as well can just stitch like a little curve there. The curve actually is a little bit easier to provide, not to get any funny bits underneath stuck. Then you go along that line again, all the way to the end, around the corner, and there again you look towards your other end. Always look where you got to go to, unless you have some marks somewhere in between that line, then you know from where to go to where. But this is not the case here. We got these long bits, so always look that you end up together with all parts. Here we come towards our seams again that meet, but also I look towards the end first again. All the way in that corner. I'm putting the seams down flat. I also check underneath that I'm not stitching anything in that shouldn't be done like that. Do a little curve there again and go towards my other ending up here. Edge on edge into that corner there. Turn around, and here we're getting already to the end part where we earlier on started. But that's where we're going to leave the hole now. The bigger you leave the hole, the easier it is to turn the part around, to turn it inside out. The bigger the thicker your material is, the bigger you should leave the hole. Now you just grab inside in any corner and pull it all the way slowly without ripping anything, bit by bit to the outside. Turn it inside out. I didn't cut any of the corners that I had because this material is not so thick, so that is not necessary, and the corners stay stronger if I leave a little bit of the material in there. So first of all, I go in with my scissors carefully to push out all the corners that are necessarily to be put out. This is as an example now where the handle is going to be on the top. And looking at the curves that you stitched, you can decide in a moment, in case if they're pulling in a little bit, we can cut them, which I will probably do in a moment. But first of all, I'm just putting it a little bit nicer so I see what actually I've done. If it more or less is all alright, or if I got any mistakes somewhere, I'm checking my jobs always over to make sure. There's my hole, and I'm going to stitch all the way around now to not only close that hole, also to make the edge be nicer. And now I can see my curve. It's quite a tight curve. It's slightly pulling in a little bit. I could stitch around like that without getting any pleaches in, but it will be much, much better if I just go back inside again to that curve and just cut that seam 2 or 3 times in some parts, snip them in a little bit, because then the whole curve will lie much better that you stitched there. Same I got to do on the other side. Through both materials of the seam that you have there, you do a little cut. Make sure not to cut your thread, then you would have to start all over again. So I'm turning this back, and I just start anywhere, because you got to go once all the way around. It does not matter where you start. I'm stitching it now 1 millimeter on the edge. I could do the same there, what I did with the pockets, and do another stitch on 5 millimeters next to this particular one. But also that is only a design question of what you like. Nicely rubble out the seam that you got inside bit by bit. Always do a little area first, or go on the iron board and iron all the way around with the ironing once the edge. But to me that's always a little bit like double work. I'm a little bit lazy, as you might have noticed by now, in case if you watched more than one of my videos so far. Of course there are some materials that makes it much, much easier to go on the ironing board first. That's not a question. But this particular bag and these materials, they rubble out so nice and so easy that it's no problem to quickly just stitch around there like that. If I wish I can still iron it once afterwards, but as you can see, it has been ironed, and it's really easy to once go all the way around. So we're shaking it a little bit to pieces. That's it. Now we got to look at the handle that we need. So flap it over, right to right side. These 2 end bits I've already done, as I told you before, and I'm closing the long side and turning this piece inside out. That's all that's necessary. And now I take the first corner from my bag, doesn't matter which one first, and just push it through or inside that long handle loop that I made. And then I take the other part, put them on top of each other. How far, this is your decision. It is also your decision if you just want to stitch across it once. But I'm going to make, as I got 2 triangle corners here, I stitch it on in a square. That's the first 2 sides from the triangle, I would call it. Now I feel that I got underneath the seam there, the material from my corner. So it's just stitched all the way around once, like in a square. And now all you have to do is pull your handle over the parts so the seam is gone and your bag is finished. Now you got a nice shopping bag or a bag to go swimming with, to put all your stuff in. And you can see, if you put it that way around, you got a colorful pocket on the outside. That would be the water resistant side on the outside. And I even got a little loop there where you can maybe put a little chain in for decoration. Or think of something nice yourself. Maybe give me a comment on it, what you would put in it. So that's your finished bag. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope very much to see you again around. Bye.